Good morning and a very warm welcome to all of you in this e-learning session. The special revision session. In today's session we are going to revise chapter number 2 of physics, which is force and laws of motion. So welcome to recap. Chapter 2, quick revision. If I talk about the recap, last time we did chapter number 1, quick revision, and in our today's session we are going to have a quick review on chapter number 2, which is force and laws of motion. Before we start on with force and laws of motion, let me explain you what is force. Till your lower standards you have studied that force is push or pull acting on an object. Push or pull acting on an object is called as force. This is what you have studied till class 8. And now there is something which is making the acceleration cause. Acceleration होती कैसे है? Velocity change कैसे होती है? It is ultimately because of the force. So this particular thing, force is having its own effects. Which are the effects of force now? The very first effect of force is it can change the state of motion of the object. That means that object which is at rest can come into motion and object which is in motion comes to rest. How can the object which is at rest will come into motion? Just apply to the force to the pedals of the cycle, then what will happen? It will start moving. This is how an object at rest will come into motion. Apply the brakes, what will happen? Object which is moving will come to rest. So this is one of the impact or effect of force. Coming to the next particular thing, that is it can change the speed of the object. Imagine just a cricket stadium now, IPL. So the bowler is bowling and he is bowling with some speed. The batsman will hit it. Here the batsman, when the batsman is hitting the ball, at that time the speed will change. That means when it is applying force, at that time the speed will change. Along with the speed, the one more thing will change, which is the direction. Yes, for the football lovers, once again, when the goalkeeper is towards when the ball is getting hit at that time, they will also try to see that the goal doesn't happen. So what is happening over there? Ultimately, the speed, direction, everything over here, that is the state of the motion. All these three things, from any of these three things, any one thing can happen. That means the speed may change, the direction may change, or the object may come to rest. So this is what all can happen because of the effects of force. Then coming to the next particular point, that is it can change the shape of the moving object. Shape of the object. All these three things may change. Now how can the shape of the object be changed? Just take a spring in your hand and just pull it, the shape will change. Compress it, the shape will change. What is that? It is ultimately an impact or effect of force. So these are few of the effects of force. Next is on any particular object. If more than one force is acting from different directions, then in that case you need to take the resultant force. So for any of one particular object, it is not only one force which is acting on it, there are many various forces which are acting on it. So depending on the total force, the force can be bifurcated into two parts, that is either it is a balanced force or it is unbalanced force. If the resultant is 0, then you can say it is a balanced force. If the resultant is non-zero, then it is an unbalanced force. Coming over here, here the shape may change. And the object will continue its state of motion. Here state of motion of the object will not change. That means if it is at rest, it will remain at rest. If it is in motion, then it will remain in motion. Coming to the unbalanced force over here, the state of motion of the object changes. So alright, this is how about you can evaluate about the types of forces which are responsible over here for the whole of the thing. Now moving to the next particular part. The next particular thing over here, we have done about the Galileo's experiment. Okay, what did the Galileo did? Try to recall. He was the one who laid the foundation of the inertia, okay. He took two frictionless surfaces, 1 and 2, and he allowed a ball to get rolled from here, and once it rolled over here, it was observed that the object covered the same height, which is h. As in how he changed this angle of the surface. Even on changing the angle, he observed that the ball will cover up same height h even if the angle is changed. So this is what gave the concept of inertia. What is inertia? Tendency of the object to maintain its state of motion, tendency of the object to resist the change in motion is called as inertia of that particular object. Okay, so that is about the Galileo's experiment. Now we are before we move further on the Newton's law, that is the whole of the concept of we can say the whole of the this whole concept of motion, which is going to come again in class 11 and 12. We will have a quick look at all of its concept. Okay, but before that, note down quick the last 3 slides. quick. The next is the concept of inertia. Inertia, if I talk about it, then it is of three types. Inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. Yes, inertia is of three types, which is rest or motion or direction. Coming to the important concept of inertia, if we talk about inertia, then inertia means it is the tendency of any particular object to resist the change in its state of the motion. It will try to maintain its state of motion. If it is in rest, it will try to be at rest. If it is in motion, it will try to be in motion. If it is in a particular direction, then it will try to resist that change in that particular direction. So these are the three particular types of inertia. Coming to the inertia of rest, there are various examples of it. For example, when the bus is starting, whenever the bus is starting, the passengers are at rest, and when the bus will start at once, the person will lean backward. What is the reason the passengers will move backward? Okay, next, the pile in this carom board, this is the pile, and with the striker we are hitting over here. If we are hitting it, the one which is at the top will again come back at the bottom. It will not move away anywhere. Why? Again, the concept which is responsible over here is the inertia of rest. The various other examples are given over here. That means, if for example, if this is the window pane, to that window pane, the bullet is hitted, and even the stone is getting hit. A very nice example and a new example which you will find out. On a window pane, okay, on a window pane, if the stone is getting hit and if the bullet is getting hit, then what is happening over here? When you are hitting it with a stone, what will happen? It will get shattered off into the pieces. Coming to the bullet, will it get shattered off into pieces? No. Why? Because the amount of time it is getting remained with the particular glass pane, window pane, is very less. Then actually what happens, because the time is less, it will create more amount of force, and it will not be shattered off totally, but with that, from that particular side, it will get totally damaged. In both of the cases it is going to get damaged, but when just think कि एक ग्लास के ऊपर अगर पत्थर फेंका जाए और उसी ग्लास के ऊपर अगर बुलेट चलाई जाए तो क्या चेंजेस हो सकते हैं? And what are these changes? Here, when in case of bullet or in case of stone, the window pane will try to remain at its state of motion. Here the time interval is less, here the time interval is more. So this is about how inertia of rest is coming into the picture. Coming to the next part, that is inertia of motion. Over here, a moving bus stops. Passengers lean forward. What's the reason? The reason is ultimately the inertia of motion. They will try to maintain their state of motion. That means they'll try to be in motion. Next is, if a person is coming out from a particular bus, a moving bus, then what will happen? Ultimately, the particular person will fall away. Why? Because the object is in motion. That means the bus is in motion, but the bus is in motion, but the person is coming down on the road, which is stationary. So that change may lead to a problem. What is the reason behind it? It is again the inertia of motion. Coming to the next part, that is inertia of direction. That means at once if the brakes are applied and the particular object is moving, then what will happen? This is what you might have observed. That is how the direction is changing. You are going on a good speed, and at once whenever there is a turn, at that time either you need to lower your speed or you need to change the direction. If you are not going to do any of these two things, then what will happen? Ultimately you will fall off. So this is how the inertia of direction is also very important. At once the direction cannot be changed. Many times it is happening that you are applying the brakes, आप आगे की ब्रेक लगाते हो इन द स्कूटर तो पीछे से देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी ये उड़ी नहीं आवे. Why? Because it's constantly direction is changing, and to that you cannot give that one stop. Okay, you cannot say that. That is leading to the great impact on the object. Coming to the next particular part, that is with respect to this, that is the Newton's first law of motion. Which is over here. An object at rest or in uniform motion will remain at rest or in uniform motion unless and until an unbalanced force acts on it. So that is about the inertia of Newton's law of inertia. The first law of motion is also called as the law of inertia. And inertia, we have already discussed what is inertia and its examples. So these are also the examples of Newton's first law of motion. Coming to the next particular concept of second particular Newton's law, that is momentum. P. It is defined as the product of mass and velocity. With this, second law is starting. So the momentum is defined as the product of mass and velocity. The SI unit of momentum will be kilogram meter per second, because mass nu sut hai kilogram, velocity is meter per second. And what is its, this is about its unit. And coming to the next particular thing, that is its quantity, then it is a vector quantity. Okay, on this basis we can study the Newton's second law of motion. What does the Newton's second law of motion state? Here it is. The force acting on an object is directly proportional to time rate of change in momentum. What is that now? That is Newton's second law of motion. Now what does the particular formula say? Particular formula says that force is directly proportional to time rate of, means division by time, change in momentum. Change means delta over here. So what is delta? Change over here. That means if the object is going from A to B, over here its initial velocity is u, here its final velocity is v, and the mass of the object is m, then for this particular interval the time taken is t, then it can be written as f proportional to, what is always change? Meaning of the word change is final minus initial. So what is f proportional to? Final momentum minus initial momentum. Upon time t. So what will be f proportional to? What is final momentum? M into capital V. What is initial momentum? M into U upon T. You can take M common, so F proportional to, what will happen? V minus U by T. What is V minus U by T? It's M in its acceleration. So you are having F proportional to MA. If I remove the proportionality sign, then what will happen? On removing, we got this F proportional to MA. So what will it become? K into MA. Here K is equals to 1. So what will your force become? Mass into acceleration. So that is the Newton's second law of motion. That is, force is equal to the product of mass and acceleration. Okay, a very important concept. What can you conclude from the Newton's second law of motion? First, let us come back to the Newton's second law of motion's concept. We started with what is momentum. What is momentum? Product of mass and velocity. That is P is equals to m into v. SI unit is kilogram meter per second. It is type of quantity, it is vector quantity. Don't think ma'am is going fast, it is quick revision. I have already taught one law on one day. And this is a quick recap to it. Coming to the Newton's second law of motion, you need to have the same speed as with what I am going. Increase your speed, be quick. Coming to the Newton's second law of motion, the force which is acting on the object is directly proportional to the time rate of change in momentum. So F is proportional to delta P by T. Delta over here means change. See, I'm telling you that I'm going little bit more fast because I also want to do the revision of numericals. If it is theory, then I will be going little bit quick. If it is numericals, so I will do it hole. Okay, so F is delta P by T. What is delta over here? Change. So here we assumed one particular way by which force is final momentum minus initial momentum upon time, m into v minus mu by t. Take m common out. What will you get? You will get F proportional to ma. Once you move further, what will you get? You remove the proportionality sign and assume the constant as 1. What will you get? Force as? Force is the product of mass and acceleration. ओके ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है जो आपको अपने ब्रेन में बिठा के ही रखना है. कमिंग टू दिस पर्टिकुलर फैक्ट, less the time more will be the force, more the time lesser will be the force. Whenever particular to a field, to any fielder, whenever the ball is coming, at that time they are taking more time to catch the ball. Why? They are increasing the time so that on their hands the force will be less. Whenever the karate player is going to hit the bricks, they will hit it very quickly. They हौले हौले नहीं करेंगे वो लोग, आराम से ऐसे ऐसे करके very quickly with one stroke only they are going to hit it and they are going to shatter it into pieces. Why? Because less the time more will be the impact of force. So try to recall, even when I was doing the concept of inertia with you at that time also, I give you one example that when on a window pane, if the bullet is getting fired and if the stone is getting fired, the impact is very much different. Why? The bullet is remaining for lesser amount of time, stone for more amount of time. These are all the things which are responsible for the Newton's second law of motion. So I hope the concepts are clear with the Newton's second law of motion. Moving to one more example, there are seat belts. Why are the seat belts provided? Because whenever you are at once applying brakes, then at that time, if the seat belt is there, then the time will increase and the force produced on your body will be less. At once your body will not get struck on with anything that is for over here on in the forward part. So this is how Newton's second law of motion is having its own importance in our day-to-day life. Let's move further to Newton's third law of motion. Oops. The third law of motion, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Yes, that is Newton's third law of motion. For example, the swimmer is swimming, then at that time, the swimmer is putting the water behind and the body is getting forwarded. A person is using the gun, then the bullet is getting fired. The bullet will go forward while the person will feel the jerk in the backward direction. What is that? It is ultimately Newton's third law of motion. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. We are able to walk. Why? Because of the force of the friction that is getting applied on us and we are walking by some force. So each and everywhere you will find Newton's laws of motion. So that is the beauty of this particular fact, that is the Newton's laws of motion. Before we move on the whole of the derivation of the law of conservation of momentum, quickly Note down the notes of today from here. Inertia. Quick. Quick. one. Then law of conservation of momentum. Quick. Let's now start on with the law of conservation of momentum. What does the law of conservation states that? It states that the initial momentum of the object and the final momentum of the object for particular uh, system will remain constant. For that we have taken one example, that is there are two balls, that is ball A and ball B. This is having mass m1, this is having mass m2. They are moving with initial velocity u1 and u2. Then by some reasons they with each other. After collision, they will again move further with different velocities. This is again ball A, ball B, velocity v2, final velocity, this is initial velocity v1. This is whole the chain that we are seeing. Two objects, they will first on them the force is applied, and here initial velocity is u1, final velocity is u2. Initial velocity of ball A, while of ball B it is u2. Final velocity of ball A is v1, while that ball B is v2. So what is the initial velocity over here? u1 m1 is the mass. So if we talk about the momentum, initial momentum for ball A and for ball B, for both of them we will see what is the criteria. If we talk about initial momentum, then for ball A it is m1 u1, for ball B it will be m2 u2. What is momentum? Product of mass and velocity. If I talk about initial momentum of ball A, then it is m1 u1. Final momentum of ball A, what will be m1 v1. While for this it will be m2 v2. What will be the change in momentum? What is change? Final minus initial. So here we need to subtract the final minus initial, which is m1 v1 minus m1 u1. For over here, okay. So this is about the change in its momentum. Now we are going to carry forward this particular concept. As per Newton's second law of motion, what can we say? We can say that force acting on A by B will be equal to time rate of change in momentum. Okay. Now what is the change in momentum of ball A? We had a look right now only that change in momentum of ball A is this m1 v1 minus m1 u1. So from here we are having over here force on A by B will be this m1 v u1 upon t. That is the impact of force on A by B. Next, force on B by A. What will be that? Again, it is same concept. It will be change in the velocity of ball B, that is this m2 v2 minus m2 u2 upon t. Okay. Now, what is the Newton's third law of motion state? Newton's third law of motion state that action and reaction are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. That means force on B by A will be equal to force on A by B, but the direction is opposite. That means FBA is equals to minus FAB. So what is FAB? It's this. Therefore, M1 V1 minus M1 U1 upon T is equal to what? With a negative sign. What you are having? M2 V2 minus M2 U2 upon T. The T over here will get cancelled out. And what will remain? M1 V1 minus M1 U1 is equal to minus M2 V2 minus क्या हो जाएगा plus M2 U2. Bring U on the one side and this over here. This will come here, this will go there. So you are having M1 V1 plus M2 V2 is equal to M2 U2 plus M1 U1, which states that final momentum is equal to initial momentum. Okay, so is it clear? Final momentum will be equal to the initial momentum. This is from where we started. Two objects which are moving with different velocities. You have already noted down this. Just the fact is, read this right now. Don't note it, it's okay, just read it. There are two balls which are having the velocity u1, initial velocity, here this one is having u2. दो बॉल हैं, इनिशियल वेलोसिटी u1 u2 है, कोई भी रीजन से वो कोलाइड होते हैं और वो देन सेपरेट आउट हो जाते हैं। इस केस में आपको ये प्रूव करना है दैट इनिशियल मोमेंटम ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट इज इक्वल टू द फाइनल मोमेंटम ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट। सो इनिशियल मोमेंटम इज व्हाट m1 u1 over here, and for ball B it will be m2 u2. Coming to this one, for ball A final momentum is m1 v1 and over here it's m2 v2. What is the change in momentum? It is this m1 over here it's m2 v2. What will be the change in momentum? m1 v1 minus m1 u1, m2 v2 minus m2 u2. Okay, this as per second law of motion, force is time rate of change in momentum, m1 v1 minus m1 u1 by t, m2 v2 minus m2 u2 by t. The third law of motion states that action and reaction are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So we just compared forces by putting a negative sign because both of them will apply equal amount of force on each other, and then just when we cut it down the t, we got this concept that initial momentum and final momentum are equal. Okay, this particular equation part, note it. So with this, I hope that you have understood all the concepts that have been done, and you are clear with all the content that is being done. That's all for the content of the day. Thank you so much, my dear students, for listening to me. And then in our further revision sessions, one by one, we will take up each and every of the lessons, then important questions of the lessons. So this was the quick recap of whole of the theoretical portion, and even the numerical sessions will be taken. So that's all. Thank you so much for listening to me, and have a very good day. Till the time, have a good day and stay safe. Be at home. Bye bye.